Guys, are you ready for another Reddit story?
Yes.
Is it going to be the same genre as your previous stories?
Relationship stuff?
Yes.
Yeah, kind of. I don't know why, but I get like a lot of relationship Reddits that I read on.
Red flags.
No, that I get on YouTube. Like in the morning when I get up and brushing and all, I just sometimes listen to Reddit stories.
Oh my god, I swear today's generation, they sit and listen to YouTube. I read books.
You're younger than me, and you listen to books.
Yes.
Hilarious. Okay, you ready? So the title or something was like, what is the most weirdest or controversial relationship that you've seen? Okay, and a lot of Redditors were commenting on it about the post that they've read on Reddit. Okay, so this was a post saying that there was this woman who pranked her husband. Okay, so this guy was a vet and he had severe PTSD, and the wife thought like it would be a good idea that she dress up all in black, wear a ski mask and hide in their shower. So what happened was this, he was coming, she jumped up at him.
Oh.
Yeah, and he ended up obviously beating her into hospitalization.
Oh.
And what he did was he beat her up, and then he yelled out his wife's name saying that run, run, run. Okay, while he was beating up this intruder. Now she's like, she wanted to understand how could she save this relationship. She's so traumatized by the fact that she's living with her husband, and honestly the wife's family thought that the husband was a piece of shit for beating his wife up. Yes, what do you guys think about that?
I don't think there can be too many opinions about this.
Yeah.
Honestly, so do you think like the woman's family is right for him being
In which universe?
I don't know, some
No. If they think that it was an accident or he actually beat her up, then yeah, they are right in that. Like if they thought he was being violent.
Then the wife's an ass for not telling the family that this happened.
Yeah, exactly. Like if that is the thing that it's not clarified, right? That's a very wrong thing.
Yeah, plus also when he was beating the supposed intruder, he literally was asking his wife to run away out of the house, right? I read this story on Reddit and I was like, I heard it and I was like, what?
Didn't the wife scream and did he realize the wife screamed?
I don't know. She didn't say anything about that. So she got hospitalized. Like she was severely beaten up by him because he's a vet. Okay. Yeah. And you don't just randomly. Plus he had PTSD. Who knows what he was thinking about in that time of imagine.
First of all, why would you consider this a prank? Is like my first question. Especially if you know that your partner has PTSD on something like this.
I know, right?
Like I get where pranks come from. But
how did you even think it's a good idea?
Yeah, no, but this in no universe seems funny to me. Like even if he didn't hit her or didn't react the way he did, I don't see how this ends up being funny unless she just like scares him, like just mean like boo and that's it.
Pretty sure that's what she was going for.
But then doing it wearing all black with a ski mask and everything.
Ski mask and all, it doesn't make sense because you're literally like, dude, I mean, that just shows that she maybe doesn't know her husband as well, because one, if your husband was in the army, okay, isn't it that their natural response to protect?
Yeah, they don't have a flight or fight. They just
have a fight response.
Or she thinks PTSD is like hiccups, so you just do boo and the hiccups go away.
Possible, that's very possible.
I hope that's not what she thought.
I hope she didn't want to do exposure therapy.
Exactly.
As Rach always tells me. But I don't know, maybe she thought the exposure, I think she thought this exposure therapy would work for him.
She very much thought that she would prank him. She literally thought that this was a good prank to play on her husband.
But she knows he has PTSD.
Yeah, but that's what, right?
But isn't the base of a prank meant to be funny?
It is meant to be funny, but
I mean, it is funny when you just walk into the room and do boo.
Yeah, like how we did it in the kitchen that time.
Yeah, but that was very funny. But that's the difference, right? You are not covered up completely and everything.
This was like she was literally invoking his fight response.
If that was the case, right, and this had to happen with us, for example, like if I was completely dressed up from head to toe with complete black, my hair and everything is covered, there is no way for you to recognize it's me. Your instinct, plus we even have Ria in the house, you have 2 dogs in the house, your instinct would be to fight.
Yeah,
right?
obviously.
You would throw a punch.
Maybe, or you would just tumble back and fall and run away.
Yeah, but the difference
So-
between the stories is she's not a
Yeah.
vet, he's a vet.
Yeah, plus his honest response was that, oh shit, my wife's here.
Yeah.
I need to save my wife as well, right? So when I read it, right, I was like, so I heard it again, literally, because I was like, did I hear it
wrong.
right? Or I was like, something feels off. And I was like, what is wrong with you? Why
Yeah.
would you go about doing that? And honestly, the first thought that came to my mind was, she does not know her husband, and she does not know what limits she
Yeah.
needs to test him to. Like, even if you're testing someone's PDS, you're trying to gauge what their actual is. She just went from 0 to 100. Bro.
Yeah.
She made no stops on the way.
Yeah. Also, I don't think something like PTSD is something anybody but a trained professional can test or understand, because it's a very severe thing that especially veterinarians, dude, like they go through so much in the battlefield that you have no idea. Like, we're talking about it right now, but even we don't have an idea of how severe, how things are for them, right?
Yeah, that is true.
So I think that was a very stupid prank to play.
I'm sure of the opinion she thought it's exposure therapy and just went for it.
Yeah, I know, right? I was just like, bro. Okay, I have another story.
Okay, go for it.
Ryan's just done
At
with
this
my
point, I
Reddit
have no
story.
choice but to listen.
Facts. So, this is a story of a couple, husband and wife. Okay, the husband is 40, the wife is 37. These two were in a happy married life, kind of college sweethearts and everything. And when they were dating, also, initial years they dated, they broke up for like 1-2 years, but then they gravitated back to each other. And they finally got married when they were like 27-30. So they are like now what, 10 years or so into the marriage. Okay. Now the husband likes intimacy more than the wife. Okay. And it wasn't really a problem, but then the wife had kids and she had problems staying up and everything. So the wife suggested, what, let's open up the marriage. Okay. So they opened up the marriage, and so she gives a few tidbits about her husband. Her husband's a very nice, fit guy. He likes staying fit, likes going to the gym, likes going out for runs, he likes doing those kind of things, right? And in general, he doesn't look 40. He looks like maybe 34, 35. This is what the wife said. Okay. Now, he initially didn't want to agree to an open marriage, but he agreed to it. Okay. And now the wife is like, he's been spending so much time with 18, 20-year-olds, and it's an open marriage. He's going out with them, being intimate with them and everything. And now she's like, I completely regret this decision, and how do I get my husband back?
I don't think there's a going back at this point.
So that's it?
Yeah, and she wants to know that how can I get him to get back or back off from this open marriage thing.
Girl, you pushed him in another man's arms.
And
You
the
pushed
woman's-
another woman's arms. Sorry. You pushed him into another woman's arms, and now you're like, oh shit, I shouldn't have done that. Like, no shit, Sherlock.
I know, right? Like, this is actually the first time I've heard or read a story in reverse. Generally, when I listen to this, right, it's always the guy saying, I want to open up the marriage, and then the woman, getting fitter, getting better, she finds more prospects out there.
That's what I
And-
thought this was going
Yeah,
back
and she gets more prospects and everything out there. And then the man is just regretting, and it's always from a man's point of view. But this is the first time where I've seen that a woman is asked to open up the marriage, and she asked to open up the marriage because she couldn't keep up with her husband's sexual drive.
Eccentricities.
Okay, I was just gonna say sexual drive, but eccentricities.
Say it again.
Eccentricities. I don't know what is it.
I think
Eccentricities.
eccentricities.
Cities.
Eccentricities.
Eccentricities.
Yes.
Yeah. Sexual drive, guys.
I think the Rach's list of the words that she can't pronounce is getting longer by each podcast.
What if we bring out each of Rachel's unsayable words every podcast?
Oh, that would be hilarious.
Guys, please no. Please, let's focus back on this Reddit story here.
I think it was very stupid of her. Okay,
I
that
know.
goes without saying. But I also think when people do such things, right, they act first, then they think, right? But I also feel like when it comes to your relationship, right, you need to have some kind of understanding. Like a lot of times, I like how we're talking like as if we know, but we don't. But when it comes to like after
Gee,
pregnancy,
thanks. But
no,
okay.
as if when I was talking about the pregnancy
Oh.
bit. So I don't know. Do you know anything about it? No,
No,
na.
my brother is listening to this podcast, so no.
So that is what I was saying. Now
He's just gonna be worried as soon as he listens. He's like, "Hello, do you need to tell me something? It's fine. I'm open. I'm listening. I'm not panicking."
Ira, you didn't let me complete on me, so then that's what I'm
Sorry.
saying. So, like, you know, after, like, I have been getting a lot of these videos, like, you know, after pregnancy, like, you know, how the woman takes care of herself and all of that
Yeah.
stuff and all. So, generally, when you say, you know, how difficult it is for the woman's body to bounce back, like, it takes a lot of mental and physical toll on them, right? So, it takes a toll on the relationship also. So, I don't, like, see, we are listening to one side of it, like, her side of her saying that she couldn't keep up, or, like, you know, you don't know what the, like, was the husband putting pressure on her, was it like any that, I mean, we don't know the details of the story, so you don't know what led her to give him that suggestion. Because generally, as a woman, thinking from a woman's perspective, we are very protective or possessive of our guys, right?
Yeah.
We obviously would not want to share them. I mean, that's just mine and Ray's perspective, but that we wouldn't want to share our guys, our men, with anyone else. So I don't know about, you know, her or what led
So-
her to this point.
I was like, so I didn't give you like all of the details.
Did they-
Not, I mean, not like that. Like the it was a really long post.
Post?
Post. And if I would have read the post word for word, it would have just been me 2.5 minutes me speaking about the post. So what she said was is that, you know, the kids were like 3, 4, okay, and
She has 2 kids.
yes, they have 2 kids, and the kids are 3 and 4, 1 female, 1 male, and it's just that during the days and all, right, some days she used to be like too tired, but the husband was kind of trying to be romantic or kind of trying to, you know, initiate something, and she would be like, you know, no, I don't want to do this or something like that. And I honestly feel that, you know, she just thought that, okay, maybe he's just go get, you know, sex from somewhere else and that just be it. But she didn't expect him to, I think, you know, pull in that many girls, and that too young, so much more younger than her. I think her insecurity.
See, that would be very stupid to think. If you think a man is hot, if you know your man is hot, you're pushing him out in the world. There obviously there are younger teenagers who could drool over him.
I know, right? Ryan, what do you think from a guy's perspective?
Yeah.
These stories are the reason why I think prostitution should be legal. Now let me elaborate.
Makes sense.
Makes sense. It
makes
makes
sense.
sense.
I agree.
Yeah.
It would be easier for her to say, go get your needs satisfied in someone's arms, because that way he isn't doing the effort of, you know.
There's no emotional connection. You know?
Yeah.
So when you go and meet a girl, when you go and impress her, flirt with her, you are building a connection with her, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you're building an emotional connection with someone, obviously you're going to catch feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in this case, if prostitution was legal, the marriage would have been saved by default.
Possible. But who's to say if he wouldn't have developed an emotional connection with the prostitute?
You're paying for it. I'm pretty sure you can't afford it. And
Can't afford it.
and I'm pretty sure the service provider
Service provider.
knows how to, you know, make sure that the client keeps coming, but does not develop an emotional attachment where he will say.
Makes sense. I understand. I mean, honestly, when I heard it, I was like, bro, you gone case or what in the head? Why
Yeah.
would you want to? But see, like Sam said, right? You don't know what kind of a situation she was in. But it's from the way she was talking about her own husband, right? It felt like he was a very nice, loving guy, and you know, he genuinely wanted to support her, or I don't know, make her feel special or make it be more intimate. Because, you know, I've seen a lot of stories, I've read a lot of this thing wherein, you know, the husband just doesn't like looking at their wives anymore post pregnancy and all, because you know, your body is now suddenly a little different, you have stretch marks here and there, and there's just a big gaping hole in the middle of you, I guess.
Dude, so I read this somewhere, I think, where you know, post pregnancy is the time where a lot of marriages fail, or like, you know, a lot of marriages, you know, the breaking point, or like, you know, the crumbling point comes in, because a lot of women deal with postpartum depression, right? So because
PPD.
Huh?
PPD.
Yeah.
You just
So-
enjoyed the PP part
Yeah.
of it, didn't you?
Yeah.
So a lot of women go through, I'm just going to ignore that. So a lot of women go through that, right? So it takes a lot for their body to recover. And if your partner is not supportive at that point, right, it becomes very difficult, because you're not just dealing with your own body, which is not the same as it was like maybe how many ever years before have you been dealing with your body. It's not the same anymore. And you're taking care of your child, and maybe you're taking care of your family, your partner, and it has to be like an equal relationship in this moment.
This actually kind of, sorry Ryan, you were saying something
I
before.
wanted to know where this was leading to, but go on.
Okay, so there was another story that I read, and I was telling Adi about it the other day. So I was reading this Reddit story, and it infuriated me to nobody's business or no end, because this the basic story was this, that a woman had just given birth, and I think the doctors say like up to 6 months, or
I already know I'm going to be irritated with the story.
I think up to 6 months or 7 months you should not initiate intimacy, because your body is still recovering and everything. And this woman's husband within like a month was like, I need
Intimacy.
I need I don't know why I just think of the word sex immediately. I need intimacy, and I want it, or I'm gonna go out and get it from somewhere else, from whoever is going to give it to me. Okay, and I'll keep doing this like every day. You have to give it to me. And she was like, the doctor has asked us to wait, we should just wait, because it might lead to complications and stuff like that. He was like, no, I need it right now, and he threatened to leave her, and threatened to leave their newborn kid, okay, over intimacy. So she panicked, and she didn't know what to do. So they initiated intimacy, and this was so bad, the pain and everything was so bad, her insides got so bad that she had to be admitted to the hospital for another 3 to 4 months.
I have two problems with this. First of all, if the guy is not ready to support you in this time, then the marriage is not worth it to begin with. Secondly, if the guy is so in need of stress release, yes, that's how you say it, then there are other forms of intimacy too.
Yeah.
Right. But so a lot of Reddit people commented, and because the rational part of my brain was also like, did you not try other things before? So a lot of the comments and a lot of the OP actually responded to comment here, and she was like, we did try, for the 1 month I was there, we cuddled, and we spooned together, did all of those things.
No,
and yes, and first second base items, okay, they did it, but he was like, nahi, mereko to wahi chahiye types, kind of a scene. Also, your first point, right, where the marriage is not worth it, I think in that point of time, the marriage itself is a little vulnerable at that point, from at least I'm thinking from a very woman's perspective. It's like your marriage is, like literally looks like it's on the verge of just being ending right now, okay, and you have a kid, a literally newborn kid, and what are you going to do? Just like divorce this guy right now and go try to find, how are you going to survive, how is your kid going to survive? Plus, if you are unemployed at that point of time, where are you going to keep the kid? How are you going to, what are the finances going to, I think it comes from a place, that I feel like that's why she ended up initiating stress relief for him, is because she was like, I don't know how I'm going to manage, and it's my husband. And by the way, just for a perspective, this happened in India, because it was Reddit India's relationship, and she was like, I had to do it. I didn't want him to go out into someone else's arms, and at the same time I didn't want to lose my husband as well, okay, so I kind of had to give in and do it.
Yeah.
So I was just like,
it's just sad.
It is. I told Adi, and Adi was just like, kaise, matlab, and then he initiated to say 1-2 bad words, and then kaise log, and I was like, hey.
See, this story is extremely aggravating.
It is.
But I also have a point. Sam, you want to say something?
No. You please say your point first. Then we might choose to end the podcast right there.
Yeah.
Or I might be dead by the time of the podcast, and you can use this podcast as proof of the investigation of how Ryan died.
Yes.
So my point is, at this point, we're at the point of society where women don't need to be like, oh, my husband has got it right, my husband needs to be taking care of me, right? There is something called as a joint account. There is something called as alimony that Indian regulations or Indian rules also follow. So at this point, why are women so worried about, oh, if my husband leaves me, what's going to happen?
So how are you going to prove, in the court, like, okay, you're talking about joint accounts and everything. Yeah, people do have that. A lot of people I've heard, they have that as well. But here is the thing, right? Sometimes when you're entering a relationship, you don't think, when you're entering marriage and all, you are not under this impression that, oh, एक दो साल के बाद तो ये टूटने ही वाला है, kind of a thing. So you don't really actively think about that, right? And when you're in that stressful situation, no, trust me, I've been in a whole bunch of stressful situations. Your mind, it doesn't work right after a point. You just start thinking of everything that could go wrong, and honestly you need someone else to talk sense into you about something that's going to go right, maybe. And honestly, at 9 or 10 p.m. in the night, when your husband is like, literally, I want such stress relief right now, you aren't going to be like, okay, wait on 1 minute, I need to talk someone so that they put me on the right path. I don't think that's the kind of path that people, or that's the kind of thought process people have at that point.
I'm not saying put it on there. I don't see your argument over here as how do I put someone on the right path. I don't see a right path argument over here.
No, it's not like a right
So when a woman
path.
says no, it means no, right?
Yes.
So I think that's where the conversation here ends.
It should. Ideally, it should.
Because rape
But-
in marriage is also a thing.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
not that, oh, I'm married so my husband can take use me at any
Advantage?
time. Advantage,
Yeah,
thank you.
Advantage.
We are at loss for words in this call. But here is the thing, right? A lot of the people are unable to prove it at that point. Okay, how do you prove something like that in a relationship, in court or something? Let's say because you've been. It's the first instance of this happening. Okay, because I'm just going basis of this Reddit story. It's the first time that happened where she was like, he wanted it so much. Okay, that I literally tore my insides out. Okay, how are you going to prove something like that later on that he forced me? Because she in the end consented to it because there was no other option.
No. There was another option.
For her.
It
in
was her
mind.
choice. It was her choice to submit. There were options.
It's
It
not
was-
a form that you click submit, but okay.
No, submit in the sense submit to his demands.
Still, I don't like this choice of words, but okay. I get it. But in that my point is, in that moment itself, right, not a lot of things come to your mind. Okay, let's say she is 1 month into post delivery. I don't know what the right term is for that. Okay, and now she's vulnerable. She's so vulnerable, she literally has to wear a whole fucking chuddy diaper and move about because that's how much you're bleeding. You're exhausted. Okay, you don't know how well the mother-father dynamics are at that point. And when I say that, with new parents, okay, you don't know who's doing the feeding. You don't know where are you going to pick up your kid and go, because in this general situations, I feel like if you have some space in between, it would make sense, rather than just trying to sit and talk and sort it out at that point where one person get completely agitated. You don't know if the person is going to go violent or not, because even the nicest of people can raise hands at times, right? And honestly, at that point of time, I don't think it comes to your mind that there is another alternative or there is something else that you can do.
I don't think this guy came on the first night and went like, nahi, aaj to mere ko chahiye. This has been happening for a month where he's been saying like, I want to, right? If they have tried stuff other than stress release in the traditional sense.
This is going to be a new slang, guys.
I'm not a part of this.
Not a funny story that we should be laughing about, but yeah. Pretty sure you have enough time, or worst case scenario, worst to worst, so the scenarios that could have happened over here, he gets violent and beats her up. She submits and now she's in hospital.
That's what happened.
Or worst case scenario, she says no, packs her bag, goes to her parents' house.
I don't think that's the worst case, but okay.
What's
The worst case is she says no, he beats her up, she dies.
Well, then she doesn't have to worry about anything after that, does she?
Yeah, well, there's a kid who's 1 month old. who's
But she's
probably
dead, so
still
she doesn't
on
have to worry
breastfeeding.
about
I
it.
don't know if I want this podcast out or not.
Why?
But so I get all of your points that you're saying, but I think you're coming at it from a very male-centric perspective. So I have said this to you before, but I will say it again. And like anyone who probably had the same thought process, it's a male privilege to even think in this way. And I'm not saying this is disrespectful. I'm just saying like there are certain things that men generally wouldn't understand. Like, even in this situation, I don't think you would understand how a woman's brain works, and vice versa. Like, we don't know how a guy's brain would work, in this kind of situation, how frustrating it is, and all of these things. So I'm not negating anything that you'll feel, but yeah, like you've said, like when a woman says no, it's a no. When a man says no, it's a no. So at the end of the day, it was her choice that led to something really horrible happening to her. Okay, and for her sake, I hope she's fine. But
Yeah, she was fine.
okay, that's how she wrote the Reddit story.
Yes, obviously.
So yeah, for her sake, I
She
hope she
wrote
was
it like
fine.
2-3 months after the fact of it happened. She was still with the husband. The husband never initiated again, by the way.
Okay, I'm glad about that. Okay, I don't know. But yeah, I think that's where we will end this podcast. Let us know, what do you think? Do you like listening to these Reddit stories and our opinions? Let us know in the comments below, and do not forget, once we hit 100 subscribers, we do have something special planned. So see you next time.
Bye.